an alien. That's not an alien. That's not an alien. That's not an alien. Here I am continuing talking about my book, That's Not an Alien, the sci-fi political satire. This is one of the little purple luggages, but I'm not going to talk about him, or her, or it. See, I don't even know. I'm going to talk about some of the other characters in this book. Blip and the aliens go into this house of the Zentner family, and there they encounter Gina, who's the young daughter. She might be 15, 16. I'm never very specific. Unless I really have to be specific. I think she might be 16. Gina is this young girl. She sort of convinces her parents to keep the aliens and to take care of them and give them cuddles. And then the scientists take away most of the aliens. And she sees this, and then she sees Blip, and they run together and they hug, and they go, oh, they stole my aliens. They don't go to the police and say, oh, look, these scientists stole my aliens, because, well, actually, they see the police, but the police are trying to avoid this. They think, I don't want to get into something about aliens. I didn't see any aliens. That's not an alien. So they don't go through this whole rigmarole, which often happens if somebody goes to the authorities and tries to force them to do something. So she basically just looks after Blip. Eventually the family sort of says, oh yes, these aliens, yes, we have this little red alien at home. He goes to school with Todd and somebody shoots some video. Of course, when I made this, it's like the only way you could film something was with a video camera. But now, of course, everybody can film everything with their mobile phones. And so somebody's got a mobile phone in the school and they film Blip doing all these things and squirting banana milk out of his ears and doing incredible calculus on the chalkboard. Gina sort of takes care of Blip, and she's a little bit a sort of conscience voice. You know, this is one of the situations where you've split them up. You've got one lot of aliens over here doing one thing, and then you've got Blip over here, and then he sort of comes back at the end of That's Not an Alien. The original book, That's Not an Alien, which then got split into 3. That's Not an Alien, Still Not an Alien, and You Call That an Alien. In part 3, Blip comes back and sort of, he saves the day, or I don't know what he does. But I don't know how he does it, but somehow he fixes the situation. And but then he has to say goodbye to Gina. Will she ever see him again? I'm not going to spoil it for you. But I'm not saying no, am I? It's a bit of an homage to E.T., because E.T. is probably another reference element. I've only seen E.T. perhaps once or twice. I might have seen the film all the way through, but it really didn't interest me that much. But there's probably elements of E.T. in there. Anytime an alien comes to Earth and doesn't kill everyone, and then has to somehow try and get home. So she's not really the Drew Barrymore character, or the little boy on the bicycle. A little bit, maybe. But she's almost sort of the conduit between Blip and her mum. And she, Mum, Blip wants to go and talk to a whale. Oh, God, we've got to drive all the way to the beach so he can talk to a whale. A more important character is Glenda. I've mentioned Meredith Macpacker, who's the warmongering general who wants to start World War III. And then Rex Frattendanger is the Australian who runs an advertising agency who's happily advertising this war for them. And Glenda is his daughter. Now, Glenda is more of an activist. She's opposed to her dad. She's always complaining about global warming and things like that. And, you know, he'll have ads like, oh, only puffs smoke low-tar cigarettes. So she's always complaining about his sort of right-wing leanings, and he's not a particularly nice person, and it's probably not a surprise that he's divorced from her mum. The mum doesn't really feature that much. I try not to go into whole family things, because when you start having family things, then you'll have a whole episode devoted to Christmas or Easter or Thanksgiving or something, and it's just people sitting around the table all arguing with each other. Oh, seen enough of this. So you only see Glenda's mum briefly. But Glenda goes off and joins the peace movement and tries to help the aliens and tries to rescue them from the American army, the Republican American army, or what will become the Republican American army. It's slightly complicated because the Republican states and the Democrat states, they want to have two separate countries within America, but they're still arguing about which states will go with who, because it's not like draw a line down the middle of the country. It's like there's a big group of states over here and another group over there and some over there, and they're trying to persuade them to join the Democrats or join the Republicans. But anyway, that's not going to stop Macpacker from having a war. And he wants the aliens so he can get their technology from them and their weapons. And so Glenda's there to help stop them. So she's basically an older version of Gina in her 20s or something. I won't go into the details of her love life. You don't really need to know that. Not at the moment anyway. So Gina and Glenda. So there's some other women in there which I'll talk about later. So there's lots of women. I haven't really specified whether any of them are black or Asian or what. Some of them could be lesbians, I don't know. I don't really go into that sort of detail unless I really have to. So later on, I'm talking about the Black Liberation Movement, which I really only did because I wanted to make a joke about Morgan Freeman. Somebody said, "You want to kidnap Morgan Freeman? But he played God." Yeah, and he played Vitruvius in the Lego movie. I wanted to focus on one of these splinter groups. It could be black, gay, trans, Mormons, left-handed people, whoever they are. They want to have a separate country. There's the ambassador from India, or the diplomat from the UK, or the Chancellor of Germany. So otherwise, I don't really specify who these people are. So there's Glenda and there's Gina. In the next video, I'll tell you about some of the other characters. Some of the perhaps more conflicting characters. Why not subscribe to youtube.com/ScuddyArk and live happily ever after in your dreams?